Well, hello, White Sox fans, and welcome to another edition of the Future Sox podcast. The draft is finally here. My name is Ian Eskridge. Joining me, as always, Mr. James Fox. How are you, James?
I'm good, man. Ready to go. It's been,
Oh,
we've been doing it's like Jesus. It's about time, and we're gonna see how this format goes. I don't know about if Major League Baseball or in TV quite understands like how long this is gonna take tonight, but we're here for it.
we've been waiting and waiting and waiting, uh, building up to this for ages. Uh, Guest showed up. Let me go ahead and pop him in here right quick. I'll populate him in here. Um,
Yeah. So Manfred is at the podium. I think he's just doing his whole
he's
spiel, welcoming everyone to Atlanta, putting Washington on the clock, and the pick still hasn't leaked. So it's kind of interesting.
supposedly.
Well, right.
I kind of had a thought, that it was going to end up being Ethan Holliday, but we've seen, uh, the normal weird accounts that have like, burner account in their name, and they say that that's who it is. So I don't know. We'll see if that's actually indeed who ends up getting picked. All right, and here we go. We've got a Burke Granger. How are you, Burke?
Great, guys. Sorry I'm late. I'm experiencing technical difficulties on the worst day for that to possibly happen. But I'm here
Ah,
now and thankful to be here.
Yeah, you're good,
all
man.
good.
See if we get you a college player at one here that you can talk about. So,
Potentially.
yeah.
uh,
I'm unsure with Rizzo being gone.
Well, I mean, both of the top two guys are Boris clients. I mean, he's had a great relationship with Boris. That doesn't mean they're not going to take one of them. I mean, I think the interesting thing is that it opens up the Eli Willits idea a little bit. I think just because like he didn't take a physical at the combine, which basically means he can sign for whatever he wants. Um,
Right.
anybody that took the physical has to get 75% of slot, right? So like you're not going to sign like a Liam Doyle because you're still giving him 75% of 11 million, right? So I think it's one of those two guys or Eli Willits as like a curveball, basically.
hmm. I'm getting the whole video thing all sorted here, so that way we can just hop into this whole thing and have the video going on in the background.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, it's just going to take me a minute to get this all sorted.
Yeah, and I think most people that are streaming are also watching, probably
Watching.
is my guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody asked about the broadcast. I don't have MLB Network anymore with YouTube TV.
Hmm.
So I generally like I have the ESPN one on currently. I like Kylie McDaniel, but I kind of like the rest of the MLB like crew like at the desk basically.
I just have MLB.com up on here. I
Yeah,
can
that works
certainly
here.
bring up whatever. If like whichever one you want me to bring up, I can bring up.
Yeah.
I do have
Yeah,
those
yeah.
capabilities.
No, doing it on Pipeline makes sense for our purposes because they're gonna stream all night. I feel like.
All right. Let me see here. What we got going on in the comments here? All right off the bat, Trey pops in, says, "Let's get some good vibes in the chat, please. No college pitcher."
Yeah, Burke.
Yeah,
None of us want college pitching at 10. So it's just this team needs bats.
Because
Yeah, just because like I don't know where they're gonna get bats if they don't start taking them like in the first round,
yeah,
basically. Um,
I don't
I think,
disagree with that philosophy.
and like they're pitching. It's not really the show for that with like how Hagen's doing. I feel like they're gonna be able to find pitching. Um, and it's just like even in your deadline trades and stuff, you can't get bats anymore. So I think
Yeah.
they would prefer to go bat at 10. I don't love the college bats. We've talked about that, so we'll see. We'll see what happens here. It's going to be a little bit. I don't even see the pick is in for Washington. Did anybody catch how many minutes each team is allowed to have?
huh.
I think
Because
5 is what I saw.
5, good, yeah, because it used
Yeah.
to be 10, and that would be nuts
Go ahead.
um with this format, basically. We could
Right.
get
With as many picks are going to happen tonight.
105 picks tonight. Yes.
Yeah. I still am having trouble with this terminology. Like I was talking to someone in the media the other day, and I referred to someone as a day 3 draft prospect,
Oh, I
and
know. Yeah.
there's no day 3 anymore.
Yeah. We need to like come up with something that's like non bonus pool guy,
Yeah,
like
like
11
after
11 to
10 and
20.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Post 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 bonus pool rounds. But yeah, no, I'll go day. I mean, I still think day 3. And
All
there's
right, we got that.
yeah, and Jim Callis, they basically said that like tomorrow they're gonna treat it the same way that they used to. So
Good.
like they're gonna record, like their show is gonna be on basically rounds 4 through 10 where you get pick by pick by them, right? But then
Yeah.
11 through 20 will be like the conference call feel where they come on after 15 and 20 or whatever they do.
And just talk about notables every 5 rounds or so.
Yeah, the thing I'm really curious about the 4th round now because, like, obviously, like for a team like the White Sox, they have the number 1 pick in round 4. I'm sure they'll have a plan, right? Like a guy that they're targeting or, how to use their bonus pool space. But I mean, what if somebody's on the board in the top of round 4 that you weren't expecting? Like, do you try to negotiate with that guy all night tonight? I don't know. We'll
Right.
see.
So who are your personal hopes or favorites for the White Sox at 10? Have you guys has this been asked and answered already? It's part of
No,
the
no,
record.
you're good. No, so I'm like a Billy Carlson guy. I don't think the swing issue is that big of an issue. I think he's an elite defensive shortstop. But I mean, like JoJo Parker, I'd also be fine with, or like happy with. And then honestly, if it's not one of those two guys, like I would prefer they go for like a different prep hitter for cheaper and reallocate their money later.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, if both of those guys are gone, they're going to be in a situation where somebody they probably weren't expecting is on the board, probably one of those college pitchers. So,
Hmm. As soon as he goes up there to make the pick, I will go ahead and throw that audio on so we can hear
oh
it
yeah, so we
and
can hear
see
him
what's
do
up.
it.
Yeah. Uh, just as a side note, I did get a message from one of our followers who's in Kannapolis all the time, and Lyle Miller Green, and got sent. Oh, here we go.
Hey, this
The
is
first
wild.
pick of the 2025 MLB draft, the Washington Nationals select Eli Willits, a shortstop
Wow.
from Fort Cobb Broxton High School in Fort Cobb, Oklahoma.
So we wanted
I put that in
fireworks.
I put it in my first mock a couple of weeks ago, and that just because it just kind of seemed like. I mean, look, this is going to be under slot, and they don't have extra picks, so my guess is they'll push somebody down to their second one.
Huh. So I mean, what do you think? Ethan Holliday's going at 4 to the Rockies
Yeah,
now.
so now I think this gets a little bit chalky just because I mean, like, look, if you're the Angels, right, and you worked on some sort of deal with somebody, like a Liam Doyle, right? Hey, like, we're gonna underslot you, come to the big leagues quick, but now you have Kade Anderson on the board, right? This is why mock drafts get ruined like immediately when stuff like this happens. So
I
Yeah.
didn't see this mocked anywhere. Did you guys?
I did like not. So I think Joe Doyle put him at 2. I saw this Burke like a month ago is when this first started happening. When it was like, hey, like Washington might take Eli Willits at 1 underslot.
Yeah.
And I put it in a mock like 1.0 or whatever, and then but then lately everybody was kind of just like, no, it's one of these other two guys. So this is fascinating with the Mike Rizzo part, Ian,
Right.
because Mike Rizzo and Scott Boras were like tied at the hip forever. Like,
Hmm.
is this the power struggle that got him fired? This is the scouting staff wanted to go Willits and save a little bit of money because this definitely and this one pick wasn't gonna change the fortunes of the Nationals, right? But it does delay their rebuild a little bit. Whereas, like, if you're Mike Rizzo and you're like, hey, let's get Kade Anderson. He can be in the big leagues next year. We can accelerate this thing a little bit. This is not that. This is a 17-year-old, I think the youngest player in the draft after he reclassified.
Yeah, he won't turn 18 until like December. He's barely 17 and a half. Like which there's obviously a lot of appeal when you're comparing like it's a strong class for high school shortstop, which we all know that. And when you can line them up next to each other and take the youngest one who's still tooled up, that's there's a lot of appeal there.
It does seem like the youth is the selling point, though. It's not like a ton of plus tools like on the, and I know, Burke, you came into this and you kind of said, like, you haven't seen any of the high school guys in person,
Right.
and you feel more comfortable obviously on the guys that you have, but like just reading, scouting reports, right? It's like, yeah, there's upside here, but it's, it's not like this is like a bunch of 65s on a card. I think you might be able to put like a future 60 on the hit and definitely on the run. I don't know, his dad was a big leaguer. He's a switch hitter.
Yeah.
I think he's a definite shortstop. I think I've seen kind of, like Dansby Swanson-ish, like, but he's so young. Like, look, Washington thinks there's more upside than that, and they definitely think that they can push somebody to their next spot. I mean, they kind of did this same thing last year, right, where they took Luke Dickerson in the second, and he's a better prospect than the guy they took at 10.
I still
So
think, and you're sorry, go ahead, Ian.
Oh, you're good. Can somebody, Trey's asking, can somebody explain to a casual why Ethan Holliday isn't the clear number one?
Because Ethan Holliday, like, just in like the number one prospect, or why he's not.
Just why he's not the number one pick, I would assume, is why he's.
Yeah, because it's a Scott Boras client. Like, the record bonus was $9.2 million last year, doled out to two guys. There's no way he's taking less than that. My guess is Colorado has 9.3 at least on the board for Ethan Holliday with the fourth pick. So if Washington doesn't feel like paying more than that, like, he's not going here. Now, could the Angels take him? Sure. It's just hasn't been their MO lately.
Yeah, I would be shocked if that happened. That would be crazy. Let's see here.
The thing that gives me pause, and you're right, Ian. So I specialize and I cover college baseball for D1 baseball, so that's where I'm at. So I miss a lot of the high school guys, but things that always give me pause when evaluating high school hitters is when someone says they're a future 60, because I think it's just there's so much more uncertainty in projecting a high school bat to be plus, because there's so much less data from which you can make that decision. Like, we're still relying on area scouts going out and seeing the hit tool, and you have data from showcases and some summer ball and stuff like that. But the collection of data that these front offices have on high school guys as to how often they're on the barrel, how hard what their average exit velo is, how often they're lifting the ball, looks like the pick is in.
This is insane,
With the
by the
second
way.
pick of the 2025 MLB
Insane.
draft, the Los Angeles Angels select Tyler Brenner, a right-handed pitcher from UC Santa Barbara. The Seattle Mariners have the next pick.
All right.
So here's the thing. So this is the weird thing about the Angels. The Angels have been linked to a bunch of prep shortstops, right? And a lot of them are like in the 15 to 25-ish range, right? Which is strange because they were never going to take one of those guys at 2. They do have a fairly high second rounder, and they have a comp pick 2. So, like, can they push somebody to their next spot? I don't know, but this is going to be pretty far under slot, you would think. I don't know if he submitted, paperwork for a bonus or what, but this one's wild.
The West Coast guy, right? If the draft were held last
UC
year,
Santa Barbara, yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked as much, because he showed really well with the collegiate national team last summer, and folks were talking about him as a potential top 5 pick. And then those that saw him live in the spring kind of dialed down the tools a little bit. They didn't see the same bite to the slider. So yeah, this surprised me a little bit. So I would imagine someone saw him really good and then likes the projection, despite the stuff not being as crisp this spring.
yeah. I mean, it's another quick to the big leagues guy, for sure for them.
Yeah.
They just, and it seems like their general manager Perry Manassian is like perennially like on the clock, like with a 1-year deal where he's like just trying to fight for his job. So, I know Joe Doyle came out with something today, our buddy, that said that like their scouting department really wanted Eli Willits, and that the GM was leaning towards doing the same thing they've typically done, where they grab somebody and move him. Maybe it was going to be Eli Willits at 2.
Huh.
And
Yeah,
this is just, they know, because even, I'd have to look and see, and I should have it up, like what the Angels bonus pool number is at 2, but it's over $10 million. Even 75% of that for Bremner is a pretty big cut.
for sure.
So hey,
Where we're
Burke, we're getting a question here from Wolf asking which top pitchers in the draft have had TJ already, and you
so
are
I know
the
Kate
college
Anderson,
guy, so
Kate Anderson, who I know I expected to be gone by now, had it when he was in high school. Um, and I don't know offhand about Jamie Arnold or Liam Doyle, or Bremner for that matter. So I would need to dig into that. It's a good question.
hmm, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of the top guys have, other than Kate Anderson, and I think
Anderson.
I think
Yeah,
Kate Anderson has to go here at 3, right? You would think. I mean, Seattle. I mean, it is Boris. It's going to be expensive. Seattle has an extra pick, and some extra money to play with. So you would think here. I think it gets back chalky where it's Kate Anderson and then Ethan Holliday and Boris. Boris probably gets the bonus pool number for both guys, is my guess. And then you pretend like the first 2 picks weren't the first 2 picks, basically. And then who knows? And then who knows with the Cardinals? It does help, though, I think, for any White Sox fans who are hoping for like one of those 2 prep bats. You got Bremner in the top 10, who like wasn't expected to be in the top 10, right? So that's one guy that's kind of moved up in theory here. The other thing this does is, like, I think a lot of people were pretty convinced over the last 48 hours that Seattle was going to go with Seth Hernandez, the high school righty. Um, so with Kate Anderson on the board, maybe Seth Hernandez begins to like fall a little bit too.
Hmm.
yeah. And Liam Doyle getting past the Angels I don't know where his stopping point is. I think I said on your podcast a few weeks ago I thought his stopping point was 10 at the White Sox if he makes it there. But I didn't
Right.
expect him to make it there.
So I've seen Toronto for him. Yeah, I just at this point, these are I don't know that the first one's necessarily like a stunner, but the second pick is for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I have to imagine it's going to be Cade here. I don't see how it's not, especially with it being the Mariners and their starting pitching. I mean, they could be just like the White Sox fans, though, and just saying, "Don't draft another pitcher," but you never know.
So they are taking Kate Anderson. Yeah. Okay.
With the third pick of the 2025 MLB draft, the Seattle Mariners select Kade Anderson, a left-handed pitcher.
Rich get richer. They got lots of starting pitching. That's going to be a nasty rotation for a while here.
Yeah, and he's, Burke can take this, but he doesn't seem too terribly far away from the majors, right? I mean, it's not like, I don't think Seattle rushes him to the big leagues to throw out of their like playoff bullpen this year necessarily. But I mean, he could be in the rotation at some point in 2026, I would think.
Yeah, and when I think of Kate Anderson, I don't think of someone who is, it might be atypical when you're talking about the first college pitcher taken. When you think about the last couple years of Chase Burns being, already in the majors, and Paul Skeens in the majors, like I think Kate Anderson could move quickly, but I don't think his ceiling is nearly as high as those 2 guys. I would say he's a safe pick. That's where the value is in a guy like Kate Anderson to me. I think he was probably one of the safest picks in the draft. But to be like a 4 or 5 starter, potentially a number 3 starter in the big leagues, and sometimes people will say that at the third overall pick or the first overall pick, and like, aren't you hoping for more ceiling there? And sure, you might be, and that's why the Mariners were, I think, linked to Seth Hernandez, who could have been there was talks at one point about him potentially being the first high school right-hander to go 1 overall. But yeah, Kate Anderson's the opposite of that, in my opinion. I think the ceiling is kind of capped out, but he's a safe bet to get there, and there's a lot of value in that. And just adding depth that's close to the major leagues. Yeah, Ian, you said it best: the rich get richer. So um, I can't imagine that they started the day thinking that they were going to get him at 3. So I think this is a nice windfall for the Mariners.
Let me go and bring up the super chat. Wolf Larson says, "Is Carlson's swing flaw an easy fix for pro coaches? What is the issue? I haven't seen him play."
Yeah, so I mean, it just seems like position, like hand related. I mean, I had talked to just a couple of scouts that thought it was overblown, which is why, like I mentioned, what like I'm not a baseball coach either, but the people that like Billy Carlson don't think that it's like some extensive thing. The same things were said, about Connor Griffin last year, that he needed like a big rework, and it doesn't look all that different. And then even like going back to Pete Crow Armstrong, who was another California prep, it was one of those things where it's like he needed a swing change to be successful. I just think, like when you have like similarly to Pete Crow Armstrong, right? And I don't want to tell, I'm not going to sit here and say that Billy Carlson's going to be that, but it's elite defense at a premium position. Plus, yes, like that helps you deal with like a potential swing change, instead of like it being a corner guy that needs a, like some swing alterations.
Yeah, welcome in, guys. Thanks for coming in and hanging out in the chat tonight. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out on draft night. Of course, we've got Uncle Ted here is rioting for Jace Laviolette, per the usual. Trey says, "Clip that." James Fox said, "Billy Carlson is the next PCA. Get ready to tweet it in 9 years." Let's see here. See, this is the one thing I don't like about these televised drafts is if the pick's in, I don't want them like continuing to push it for like that extra 5 minutes just
Right.
because they have 5 minutes. Just make the pick.
Well, and the problem is if you're on social media, like all the insiders have it from agents.
I'm gonna
like
call you.
you know
Can't
what I
play
mean?
here. You can go
Anyway,
upstairs.
that's just kind of how it goes. But I mean, this would be a shocker if it's anybody other than Ethan Holliday at this point, right? I mean, this has been like rumored throughout the process.
Yeah, that's been like the thing here. Sorry, I had you muted for a second there, Burke. I didn't.
No, you're good.
You. Here we go. We got the pick is in. Are they gonna actually do it? Or are they gonna go to? They're gonna go to commercial first.
There's how.
I've got dancing dinosaurs. Give me the
Yeah,
pick.
I mean, I've seen it. Don't follow Joe Doyle if you don't want the picks spoiled, because
Yeah,
I
see.
He has he has the 5th pick already. So
yeah, that's insane. He's
and
always
you guys
always early.
And you guys, like in the comments, like can do whatever you want. We're gonna try to keep this as close to like the commissioner announcing the pick as possible, but the longer we go, the harder it's gonna get for staying with the broadcast.
Man.
Sleepy man, I don't like over on Sleepy Harold asked over under on Bremner reaching it by maybe.
August. I mean,
I don't know.
He might just start there in July.
They're not a contender. Like but yeah. So Ethan Holliday.
Yep.
My bad.
Well, we've talked a lot about Ethan Holliday. They say he might have the best left-handed.
Well, I mean, we were talking about that for ages. So, I mean, that just kind of makes sense that is what it is.
It makes sense for them too, obviously, because his father played there. It is big time power. It's definitely third base and not shortstop. So the power has to play. But look, I mean, it makes a lot of sense for Colorado, like especially like a team that very likely will have the 10th pick in the 2026 draft. Like getting a guy like this at 4, it's really good for them.
He's not his brother. He's bigger and more physical and less likely to stick up the middle. But that kind of power potential is going to be fun if that's where he sticks in Colorado and when he's up in a few years.
Yeah, he's a big kid. I don't know. Do you guys watch the Bat Bros at all? Because they did some videos with Matt Holliday, Ethan, and Jackson, and surprisingly, Ethan, him being a couple years younger, he's keeping up with his brother's EVs quite easily. He's a
Yeah.
big, strong kid. So next time I gotta try and get on that one a little bit earlier.
I feel like I don't know. Maybe we did. Like maybe we mentioned it. I feel like we should have seen the Eli Willits thing coming when Mike Rizzo was fired. Now, like in hindsight, like the top two guys are Boris clients. He's trying to force like a Boris client like at one when the rest of the organization is like, no, we'd kind of like to go under slot with this 17-year-old. Um, so, and it's really like, Mike Rizzo is very scouting heavy, and Burke, you would know more about this. Like a lot of the teams are model teams and some teams are scouting teams, right? And Mike Rizzo was very much like an old school baseball scout. And I
Hmm.
guarantee you the models and simulations push out a guy like Eli Willits. And that doesn't mean he's not worth the number one pick. It's just, guys like that are huge for the model clubs just because age like factors so heavily.
Yes, 100%. And it's always interesting. I ran into some scouts this year who they're not allowed to use like TrackMan for spin rates. Like their scouting offices want them to use their eyes and then corroborate that data later in the season, which I kind of think is an interesting idea. Like you already have a whole analytics team that is getting that stuff, so why not have your scouts just at the ballpark trusting their eyes? That's why they're there for. You don't need them to be data collectors anymore. All that stuff is available to them. So it just it's interesting to see the shift in the dynamic of what teams prioritize in the draft cycles. And to your point, James, every team is different.
Hmm. There's the Holiday clan hanging out in a big, nice room. I wonder
So I
where
think
that.
I think the majority of White Sox fans are going to be happy with this pick at 5, and I'm glad that we have Burke here to like talk about it once it gets announced. So
Fair enough. I know it is as well.
yeah, so do I. What do we have in the comments? Anything we have to answer
So, yeah,
here?
so does this mean Seth Hernandez falls?
I mean, it means he's fallen past 5. He could go 6 to Pittsburgh. I think he could go 7 to Miami. He could go 9 to the Reds, and I don't think he'd get past 10. I don't. I know we all want bats, but I don't think Seth Hernandez would get past the White Sox.
Yep. Husky Bardo, thank you for the super chat, sir. Thanks for draft coverages. You are certainly welcome. Thanks for coming and hanging out. We appreciate you. Let's get this Manfred guy out here. Make this pick.
Yeah,
He's gonna
right?
make us
Like
sweat for a while.
Like, come on, Rob.
So aggravating.
So, I mean, it seemed so. I mean, for Colorado, though, I mean, Charlie Condon, I think, has picked it up like a little bit. Last year was a bit of a struggle, right? But, it kind of seems like adding him and Ethan Holliday to the mix. Yeah, I knew Trey would be. I knew Trey was going to be excited about the 5th pick.
I have not seen it yet, but I'm going to guess. Oh yeah, well, I know that this is one guy. If this is who I'm thinking it is, I know that Trey will be very happy because we were both talking earlier about hoping all the pitchers were going to be gone.
Colorado Rockies. Let's see where St. Louis goes.
With the 5th pick of the 2025 MLB draft, the St. Louis Cardinals select Liam Doyle, a left-handed pitcher from the University of Tennessee.
Now, James, you had said that you had heard that the White Sox weren't really necessarily interested in Liam Doyle.
Yeah, I just heard a lot. Just that there was a lot of reliever risk. They didn't love, what they would have to do basically to like enhance secondaries, that sort of thing. But I know Burke likes him quite a bit, so we can turn it over to. And hey, Burke, before like you do this, so Heim Bloom, I don't know like how closely you followed his drafts with Boston, but it was a lot of like really high upside preps, like a lot of underslots. The rumor was that Heim Bloom was going to run this draft for St. Louis before taking over for Mozeliak. This seems like more traditional Cardinals though. So I
It
guess you
does, yeah.
touch on that, like as well as like why you like Doyle so much.
And so you mentioned reliever risk, and I think that's a fair criticism with Doyle, and the lack of secondaries compared to some of his peers in this tier. But for me, like that's partly because the fastball is so elite. Like he throws it 70% of the time. He gets a lot of in zone whiffs with the fastball, and to me that's a nice indicator of future success. Everyone in Major League Baseball has to pitch off their fastball, and when you can get guys to swing and miss off of it in the zone, to me that's an attribute that I like quite a bit. The guy's a psychopath, and again, like I saw him in Knoxville on the regional when he's doing all this stuff that's showing up on the screen, and some people like it, some people hate it. I freaking inject that into my veins. I loved every minute of it. So and then coming out, and this was on Monday after he had already pitched on Friday night and got the win on got the win as a starter on Friday, got the win in relief, or got the save in relief, or whatever it was on Monday. Just everything to me that I love about college baseball and the regionals of what throwing out an ace there to go and carry his team on his back for 2 games. And that's more of the old school stuff that I like. But from a data analytics standpoint, I mentioned the swing and miss in the zone. I think there's plenty to work with the secondaries. And for me, if you have that foundation of being able to work off your fastball and pitch with the fastball and get swings and miss with it, that to me is why I like him so much. It does, to your point, James, about the feel of this, like the Cardinals for the longest time just had a reputation of drafting Friday starters and Friday college baseball starters, and loading their farm system up with that. So yeah, it's certainly not a high school guy here. He, Liam Doyle's been at 3 colleges. He is the college guy. So, but yeah, I'm a fan. I understand some people in the comments are happy that he's not going to be with the White Sox, and I get it. There's risk that involves with any one of these guys. He's just one that I was a fan of. But who knows? This stuff is all subjective, and I might not have been as big of a fan if I didn't see him in person in his last really good start of his college career. So I'm human too, and those biases certainly creep in.
Got a super chat here from Robert Daniel. Thanks for all your work. Sox will rise again. I hope. We also hope. Thanks for hopping in tonight, Robert. We appreciate you.
So my mock draft that I did, that I was hoping to get like 5 right out of like 45 picks that I did. I have Ethan Holliday, and I think I might get the next one with the Pirates too, but we'll see.
All right. Let's see here. Sox Hap says, who else needs to go to get drafted to Sox proof this number 10 pick?
Oh God, I think we need Jamie Arnold off the board, but
yeah, I don't buy the that Cruise School the Cruise Schoolcraft stuff personally.
I don't either.
I would be pretty shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could, like, if they go under and push him to 44, I think that's maybe potentially possible, but it's not gonna. They won't. I don't think it would be a 10. The pick is in for the Pirates.
Question here: where is Ava Arquette projected to go?
I mean, he was projected to go already, so he could go at any point here. Could be anywhere. I saw him a lot with Seattle at 3 and Pittsburgh at 6, and it doesn't seem like Pittsburgh is going that direction. So, yeah, he's still here.
Got all the Pirates fans showing up in the auditorium here on the camera, so should be in soon, I would hope.
And yeah, there it is. I think
Ike Irish.
And I think this is the best.
With the 6th pick of the 2025 MLB draft, the Pittsburgh Pirates select Seth Hernandez, a right-handed pitcher from Corona High School in Corona, California.
Well, there he goes. There goes Seth Hernandez.
Yeah, and I
That's
think
not
that's
shocking to me.
I think that's the top player.
Highest
they
ceiling, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And look, it's a prep righty, so like I totally understand teams passing. But I think at this point, like when you're the Pirates, you know, like if you deem him better than the prep hitters, like the only college bat basically that you would take here is Ivar Arquette. Like I completely understand this in this spot for them. I don't know if this means Ben Cherington feels safe in Pittsburgh, right? Because it's another pitcher, it's another prep pitcher, like in a year where I just think a lot of their fans would prefer college guys. But look, you can't really draft for that reason.
I'm curious what he would get in terms of the slot here.
Well, so just for that, so I mean, my guess is he's getting close to all of it. I can pull up the bonuses here in a second. So Aram Layton of Just Baseball reported that Kade Anderson is signing for $8.8 million with the Mariners, which is like an $800K haircut, basically, I believe.
Okay.
So that's no, $700K. So it's like $8.8 million is $700,000 under slot. And that's maybe the best pitcher in the draft at number 3 is going under. So I feel like, you know, maybe teams are getting deals.
Marlins on the clock. Blue Jays, Reds, White Sox. So we got 4 more picks left.
Yeah, so I mean, you have Jamie. So I mean, look, looking at it this way, I mean, I know a lot of people don't want Jamie Arnold, but like in theory, you know, you have Jamie Arnold on the board, you have Arquette on the board, and you have the two prep hitters.
Still got Carlson and JoJo Parker.
Yeah, and the Marlins have been very high school oriented of late, anyways. Especially, it's only the second draft under their new leadership, but that's the direction I would expect. There were some Ike Irish rumors for them today too, but you know, we'll see.
Get this thing all the way caught up here.
Yeah, ESPN is on commercial. The Marlins pick is in.
Is it?
Yeah, apparently. I mean, on this, it says it is on the screen.
It sure does.
So we'll see. I mean, I haven't seen it yet.
Trey asks, is Keelan a realistic option from what James has heard?
God, I hope not. Just with what I mean, I just like think that's super low upside. I know, like Burke talked about it when we had him on. I think it's a definite shortstop profile. I just think like if you're gonna do that and save some money, there's like high school guys you could do it with instead, essentially.
Yeah, 10 would seem a little high for me. I think he had a good enough year to get him back in the first round. Like over the summer, I think it was debatable, but he showed enough upside in those first few weeks. And then when he came back from injury, it was in the heart of SEC play, and he did stumble a little bit. But I don't take that as an indicator that Gavin Keelan can't hit SEC pitching. I just think he was getting back up to game speed while the schedule is in the most difficult part of the season. Because I liked what I saw from him down the stretch. I think he can stick it short. And then as a left-handed hitter, and he showed more patience. He doesn't swing and miss at all. Like and he walked like 3 times as much as he did last year, which I kind of like the change in approach this year to letting the game come to him a little bit more and not getting himself out by swinging at pitches outside the zone.
Let's see here. Yeah, I think I will say I think that things have kind of fallen to a point where I think that the White Sox are in a pretty good spot here.
With the 7th pick of the 2025 MLB Draft, the Miami Marlins select Ivar Arquette, a shortstop from Oregon State University.
Yeah, I think that's helpful.
That is helpful. I was thinking for sure that it was a prep player
Yeah, the
to
Sox are in a
Marlins.
great spot here. I mean, because Arnold, I don't know, unless you got both prep shortstops going at 8 and 9. I mean, I would think Arnold or Ike Irish goes in one of these next two spots, and then, if the White Sox, really are targeting one of Parker or Carlson, um, they should be okay, but we'll see. Yeah, so Ivar Arquette Burke. This is a
Just
guy who I think is probably the top bat, on the college side in this class, but seems like, more like some of those secondary college guys last year, right? We kind of talked about this, kind of that Cam Smith tier.
hmm yeah, I could. I mean, what stands out with him is his size and physicality at like 6'5", 220, and his ability to play shortstop at that size. The ball like really jumps off his bat. It comes off hard. Um, he needs to, I think, be a little bit more consistent in how often he's hitting with the sweet spot with the barrel of the barrel of the bat. It got better this year, but yeah, I thought he would be taken in the first 5 picks for sure. I think this is a nice value at this spot at 7 for the Marlins, who as you pointed out, James, have been kind of high school heavy as of late. So this is they're getting potentially one of the top 2 or 3 guys in the draft at 7. So this is a nice
Yeah.
win for him.
And I wonder if this is a little bit under, and I believe they pick at like 36 and 39 or something. I would have to go look at, I should probably pull up the draft order instead of me just like saying that over and over again. But yeah, it does seem like they have like a couple of, early picks. Miami does. So I know they're at 43. Yeah, in the comp round, and then they pick again like at 46. So I wouldn't be surprised if those are 2 high school players at those 2 spots.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see who they get, who goes at 37 with that comp pick that was just traded.
For Baltimore?
Yeah, I'm just interested to see who's available at that point,
Right.
so I could shake my fist at the sky that we didn't trade one of our relievers that's got a better whip and better ERA.
Yeah, but I mean that guy. Yeah, it seems like they prioritize the 3 years of control that guy has.
Yeah, my guess was that they probably thought that there was something there that they could maximize to,
Yeah.
get his effectiveness up a little bit.
All right, so I am going to spoil the next one because I think it's informative for what we've been discussing. So the Toronto Blue Jays at 8 are taking Florida State lefty Jamie Arnold, which look, I
The
think,
chat's going to be pleased.
yeah, I think makes sense for them. But what that means is the White Sox are guaranteed one of Carlson or Parker, and they might. I'd be curious to see who they take if both of them are on the board.
So it looks like the chat consensus is they were not fans of Jamie Arnold. Have you guys talked about him much and as to why?
No, but
Or
I'd
have
love to
you?
have you. I just think it's another low slot lefty, and with Higgins Smith like kind of going backwards a little bit, and just like the need for bats. I don't really think it's a Jamie Arnold problem. I think it's everybody wants the White Sox to just finally take bats thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it the last time I was on. Like I did have Arnold as the third best of those 3 college lefties. And it doesn't mean I didn't like him. I he's very difficult to pick up, especially if you're a left-handed hitter. That slider is a legit, I think, future plus pitch, and he throws it a lot, like almost 50% of the time. So in my mind, people will look at the release or the delivery and say there's less reliever risk than Liam Doyle. I think there's still potential reliever risk. And I don't mean that in a pejorative sense. Like he could be an Andrew Miller type shutdown lefty out of the pen. Like
It's wrong. It's not Arnold.
okay, oh really? Was that did Joe get one wrong?
Joe got a bunch of people got one wrong.
Oh wow. So now we could be getting Arnold at 10 now.
We could be in trouble. Yeah.
And it's not that I think Arnold's fantastic pitcher, but
There were like a lot of there were a lot.
2025 MLB Draft, the Toronto Blue Jays select JoJo Parker, a shortstop from Purvis High School in Purvis, Mississippi.
So there were like lots of, I don't know if it's lots of, but there were rumors that the Reds weren't necessarily on Billy Carlson too. So like we'll see. Yeah, well, coming up here, this is and look, I don't even know that the White Sox would take Arnold if Carlson goes next. I don't know if they'd go to the next high school bat or take one of the college hitters like instead of Jamie. Because I mean, the scouting director Mike Shirley came out and said, that there were like 2 college pitchers that were in their mix, and I don't know that Jamie Arnold was definitely one of them.
Would we think that would mean Kyson Witherspoon is in play?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's one of the 2, whoever like they meant.
yeah, I would think it would be Kyson Witherspoon personally over Arnold, but that's just me.
I know Kyson Witherspoon can be nasty. I've seen him nasty on film. When I saw him live, it was underwhelming, but everyone has the right to have an off day. Can't remember if I talked to about it with you guys or someone else, but like his velo was down like 1 mile per hour when I saw him. It was like 95.2 instead of 96.2 on average, and the fastball was just flat. It was flatter than what you'd see from. Again, these sound like unfair comparisons, but I'm talking about Chase Burns and Paul Skeens because you want to compare them to college right-handers that you've seen in recent memory, and it doesn't have that kind of life on it or that kind of giddy up at the end, and it was getting barreled by a pretty good Kentucky baseball team when I saw him, but that it could be just a matter of, hey, you're a little bit off, you're not working ahead because of it, and then you can't utilize that slider to put hitters away, and you're throwing fastballs and fastball counts, and D1 hitters are good enough to catch up with that. So could have just been a bad look on my part, but I was underwhelmed when I saw Kyson Witherspoon.
So there are rumors now that the ninth pick is like been made as well. It's kind of a little bit off the board, but somebody had this, or I think Kylie McDaniel had this earlier. Like if it's correct, we can wait though. It is not Billy Carlson at 9 for those. I mean, it might be, but it's the report is not that it's him.
But it is a high school shortstop.
It is a high school shortstop. Yeah. Yeah. And this was like kind of a late move today. I think Kylie McDaniel had this at 9 in his mock. Again, like the Reds are a team with an extra pick. Which I mean, look, this strategy like makes sense when you have extra picks. If you're going to take like a couple of shots at it, right? Like if you can underslot in this spot and overslot at your next couple, can be helpful. It's just a strategy a lot of teams use. And this broadcast is freaking dragging, man.
Yeah, well, especially for White Sox fans. What do the Reds have for pool spaces? Like 15 million or 16?
Yeah, it's quite a bit because they have the extra pick. Yeah, I'm just gonna pull them up right now. So, the Reds is 11-8, so they have like
Really
under. So they actually the White Sox have a little bit more than them.
Is that because they've got the first pick?
It's because the White Sox have the first pick in each round. Yeah,
gotcha.
That's
okay.
why. Yeah,
would have thought with the comp pick that they would have had more.
Yeah, because their pick at here is 6,000,005. But then they have a comp B. They don't have a comp A, which I guess is it. So then they pick at 51, which is just under 2 mil. Oh, they traded their comp pick. That's why they traded it to the Dodgers. Which is why they don't have
that makes sense.
That much money. Yeah. So
Nobody wants to see Ethan Holliday. The pick's in. Just make it. Let's go.
Yeah, right. They're gonna have to get grainy Alabama high school video here in a second. Do they have it? Like,
They spent an unusual amount of time at 4 when Holiday got picked, running his production, like pre-production package too. So they just went all in on devoting X amount of screen time to the Holiday family,
yeah,
I think.
I mean, well, you know,
Here we go.
Number 8.
With the 9th pick of the 2025 MLB Draft, the Cincinnati Reds select Steele Hall, a shortstop from Hewitt-Trussville High School in Trussville, Alabama. The Chicago White Sox, the next pick.
White Sox are on the clock.
Here we go. Time to close that. Sorry, guys. I'm going to close off those comments here.
Oh, you don't want to be scooped here?
Yeah, I mean, if I find out, I find out, but I prefer not to get wrong stuff in the comments over there and then get all fired up.
Oh yeah, no, that's
I mean, because it's a possibility that I end up turning off my camera and taking a walk for a minute anyway.
yeah. So Steele Hall is just another super young dude. Another like 17-year-old reclass, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, I mean he's gotten some young like Trey Turner comps. I mean, look, comps are hilarious, especially to guys as good as Trey Turner. But it might be 80 grade speed. It's definite shortstop. It's just the bat. There's questions, and you kind of talked about it earlier, Burke. Like projecting prep bats is just it's difficult, right? Like I guess there's upside regardless of the bat. Like if it's an 80 run and a definite shortstop, there's value in that. But you're
Mhm.
you're really betting that he can hit enough to be a regular.
Sox pick is in.
Yeah.
My kid won his baseball tournament. Hooray.
Congrats.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And there's not like another tournament now. They won this one. It's over.
That's the last one of the year. So it's good for them to go out on a winning note here. And he had a good last couple of games, so I'll take it. So let's continue the good vibes here, and let's get something that's not a pitcher, please. But we shall see.
Yeah, I mean, this is
I'm actively looking for leaks and haven't seen it yet.
yeah, me neither. I mean, I'm still kind of, I mean, even though like I don't really want Jamie Arnold, like this was the #1 college pitcher coming into the season, like with a bullet, right? It was like Jace
Yes.
Laviolette and Jamie Arnold were the top 2 guys, both obviously still on the board. I don't think it's a surprise, obviously, that Laviolette's still here, but like Jamie Arnold could still be kind of quick to the big leagues. I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
I didn't think like these teams in the early teens were necessarily like in Jamie Arnold range.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that he's still available this late. And I think I don't personally want him, not because of the skill level, just because I'm tired of seeing arms being taken, but he's definitely useful. Good pitcher.
So if you guys had to
Yeah.
speculate, who were you guessing here then?
I mean, I assume it's Carlson. I haven't seen it yet though.
That would be my guess as well.
Just as there's been a lot of smoke about them and him and private workout. They like the shortstops. They're not afraid to take 19-year-old high school guys. It makes a lot of sense to me. But
I'll go off the board and say Ike Irish just for the hell of
and
it.
this has been, kind of crazy. So
You're not making any friends in the comments there.
I know.
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Billy Carlson here. but we've had a couple of other ones that were kind of not correct. So
I wasn't expecting Bremner. So
no,
anything could happen.
to go up where he went up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bremner at 2 is crazy. But I mean, look, I think like you said, Burke, like preseason, it wasn't crazy at all. Bremner going that high. It
Right.
was Jamie Arnold and Bremner all the way, like up top like that.
And that's what I would say to console White Sox fans if it's Arnold now. Like if you told them last year at this time that Jamie Arnold would get to them at 10.
Oh
Like,
yeah, it would have been like, oh yeah, great, take another lefty,
right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. He had some pedestrian starts down the stretch, which gave me some heartburn. So I get
Have you
it.
seen like the reliever risk with him too? I've seen that.
I can see it. But it might just be because he's so effective against left-handers, and the
Here we
role
go.
of a multi-inning reliever is more
With the
important than it
10th
ever
pick in
was.
the 2025 MLB draft, Chicago White Sox select Billy Carlson, a shortstop from Corona High School in Corona, California. The Athletics have the next pick.
All right, so 2 down from Corona High School. His teammate Seth Hernandez was drafted earlier in this draft to the Pittsburgh Pirates at number 6. But this is Billy Carlson, considered the best defensive shortstop in the entire class. People love him. He's got a big personality, and the 18-year-old is standing in our MLB draft spotlight.
Billy Carlson, Corona High School shortstop. I like to golf. The Departed, actually. I was watching that the other day on the airplane.
All right.
Billy the Kid, that's like my license.
Well, got our prep shortstop, James.
Yeah. So, Burke, how much have you watched just even like video highlights, etc., on Billy Carlson?
Not a ton of him or any of the high school guys, candidly.
Yeah, because I'm just further wondering about like somebody like yourself who, goes to all these college ballparks and you do this and you've been doing it for a long time, like what you would see just as far as like something that people would be talking about this swing. Because there are people that think this is like, they think the people that like Billy Carlson think it's 25 homer upside with a gold glove at shortstop, right? But then there are others that are like, yes, but he has to like change his swing to get there.
The swing looked a little level to be elevating balls to hit 25 home runs, in my opinion, and the small samples that I've seen. But I think it was whoever, Harold or someone that you said it. Like if you're drafting him, you're drafting him on the glove and what you think is there. So, like, yeah, I think you draft a guy like this if you think you can stick at shortstop long term. And then if you like this, for me, the swing, I like the swing, but I liked it for its attributes of staying in the zone a long time, which isn't always conducive to elevating the ball. Some guys can do it great, do both of those things great. And sometimes it takes a little tweaking.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I'm happy with that. It's a definite shortstop. It's a plus shortstop. Ian, I mean, from your perspective now, like as soon as we're done with this, like a week from now, I mean, it's a 19-year-old prep shortstop, right? Does that change anything as far as like him spending the rest of the summer in Arizona and us not seeing him until next year? I don't know, I mean, so Caleb Bonham went out last year. He was a little bit older, but he wasn't this old. And, we heard the good reports from Arizona from the, whatever they call those bonus games or whatever. Right. And then he went right to Kannapolis. I think Billy Carlson's in Kannapolis to start in 2026. Right. But I would still think as a high schooler, we're probably not going to see him. Like now,
Yeah, I would.
I'm saying.
I'd be shocked if we saw him in 2025. Except for like backfield footage. Like maybe Drake man will share some stuff on Twitter that we'll see, and I think that's probably about it.
So forecast ahead to our midseason update, right? I think take Teal and Caro obviously off, so you're looking at the two lefties at the top of the system. and people like Braden Montgomery, obviously, and I think Carlson will still be on the list. Where's Billy Carlson? Is it does it have to be 3, or is it higher than that? Is it 2? Because like he's going to be a top 100 prospect immediately.
Yeah.
So he's in that mix, right? I mean,
Has to be, right?
Yeah. So I mean, look, he's in the group immediately with Schultz and Hagen and Braden. But then, we'll see, I guess, like how high. Burke, I think originally, like, I planned on staying here through like around the Cubs at 17 or so. And then we're going to take a break and come back around 40. You're welcome, obviously, to stay until we're done, but I understand time and stuff. And I do think we're going to get some college guys for you here quickly. So
Yeah, I'll stick
well,
around for a couple more picks, but yeah, I got a couple other media hits I got to do later when Midwest guys get picked, and then newspapers want some quotes on that type of stuff.
for sure. Who's your top? I heard some late smoke today with Devin Taylor, and that he might go a little bit higher than maybe anticipated. And it's not super surprising, right? If you can ignore the fact that he's probably a left fielder, all that kid has done is rake like everywhere he's been, right? So that
Yeah,
one wouldn't be too terribly surprising. Just in general
Chris
here,
Burke
like at
said
some
it.
point.
Yeah, Chris Burke said it on a D1 baseball podcast over the weekend on doing the draft preview. Like comparing him to Ike,
With the
a lot of
11th
people were
pick of
speculating
the
Ike Irish could be the
2025
first bat.
MLB draft,
I'll get
the
into it after this
Athletics
pick.
select Jamie Arnold, a left-handed
There
pitcher
he
from
is.
Florida State.
So it took one extra pick. And now he's
But yeah, like if you're saying Ike Irish might be the first college bat, and he might end up playing a corner outfield, it's right field for him because he's got a good arm. But like if he doesn't catch, then he's a left-handed hitting college bat who's playing a corner. Same thing that Devin Taylor does. With Devin Taylor, it's going to be left field, but Taylor's track record and consistency is so much better than any of the other college bats in this group. Like he has fewer question marks in terms of his offensive output in his track record. Now to be fair, like it's Big Ten pitching instead of SEC pitching that he's facing. And even though I'm a proponent of the Big Ten and Midwest baseball, I also know it's on average it's not as good as it is in the SEC. So, but that being said, Devin Taylor's performed with Team USA and the collegiate national team. He performed at the Cape, performed freshman, sophomore, junior year. I love the kid personally, and I would bet on his character and work ethic
Yeah,
more than anything.
Pristine makeup. So
Yeah,
that was my question with Ike Irish too, Ian. Like everybody has said that if you take Ike Irish, you're immediately moving him from catcher to the outfield. But if you're doing that, like, what is the difference between him and some of these other guys? Like even Burke, do you think Andrew Fisher can stand in an outfield corner? Right? Because like if he
I
can,
mean,
I think he might be better than Ike Irish too. Like as
I
far
I
as
don't disagree with
like
that.
now if he's first base, like I understand, like, okay, we're not going to take a first baseman, right? Like if you think it's definitely first, but if he can play left, like I don't really know what the huge difference is there.
You guys might be old enough to remember when Billy Butler came up for the Royals. Like he was a bat first guy. I think he played like first and third in the minor leagues, and they tried to stick him out in left field, and it was the worst major league show I've ever seen in left field. Like worse than Eloy in left field ever was for the White Sox. Like maybe worse than Gavin Sheets ever was in right field for the White Sox. It was pretty bad. So like can can Fisher do that in left field? I think he's better than. I think he can do better than that. Better than Billy Butler saying in 2006 for the Kansas City Royals. He's played third base at the college level. He's a first base. Like, I think he is. He has the ability to try it out there. It's tough to say until you can see if someone can read fly ball and take an efficient route. But he is more athletic than the worst major league left fielder I've ever seen in Billy Butler. So I don't know if that's an endorsement or not, but it's I've seen worse. As I guess where my long-winded way of saying uh, there's a possibility. And to your point, I like him a lot as a bat. I love Fisher as a bat and as just a personality. He's fun to watch.
Oh, got another pick.
Draft, the Texas Rangers select Gavin Feen, a shortstop from Great Oak High School in Temecula, California.
That's earlier than I thought he was going.
Well, so there was a lot of Red Sox rumors at 15. So this is like I mean, the thing that I found interesting was like late in the process here, like over the last week, when it was very clear that the White Sox were linked to prep guys. I believe it's Kylie McDaniel mentioned Gavin Feen, and who's the other? Now it's like escaping me. Josh. There's a North Carolina, Josh Hammond from North Carolina, that both of them were like in the mix too. And Hammond was mocked to the Cubs and Feen was mocked to, so right in this range, like this 10 to 20 range, with lots of these prep fringy, everybody plays shortstop. Ian, you're familiar with with high school baseball, right? But these guys are third basemen. And Feen can really hit. And this is interesting for Texas here, especially with just kind of where their major league team is and all these college guys that are on the board. Look, I talked about how I kind of thought this college class was overrated, right? But not now. Now, when you're in the 12, 13, 14 range, like here, I think the guys are probably worth these picks. They're just guys that you didn't want to typically push up the board into the top 5 like college position players typically do. They didn't have that kind of juice. But in this range, if you take some of these college bats, I think it's actually probably a decent idea.
I just wanted to see if the fish would show up on the comment.
So we're through 12 picks, and I'm 25%. I have 3 picks correct. I want to see if I get any more. I wanted 5 was my goal. 5 out of 45.
Yeah, I'm interested. Next year I should probably do that. I just
put it together just to see it. Well, because I think Kylie McDaniel is awesome, right? He got 3 right last year. 3
in the whole first round.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's not a slight on him. It's just
of course not.
One thing goes wrong, and it's like everything goes freaking haywire, right? So you just have to hit on a couple of like I've hit on Baltimore in the past. Like last year, Vance Honeycutt, boom, Baltimore 25. I nailed that one, right? Like I have Jace Laviolette 19 to Baltimore. Like I think I might get that one, like, but just because like their profiles have been their profiles, like under Mike Elias. What do you think, Burke? So 37th pick that Baltimore traded for, Burke. Now they have $19.2 million. It's the largest bonus pool ever. And there was some speculation that the Orioles are basically trying to push their prep guy of choice, like down to one of those picks. But there was also speculation that they really like, Fisher, Stevenson, Laviolette. There's like 4 college guys that they really like, and they couldn't decide. So they were like, screw it, let's take all 4 of them. So we're going to see, because they pick at 19, 31, 32, and 37. So, if they truly couldn't decide, they have the money to push all those guys to like their spots if that's their plan. I would think it's at least one high school guy probably, though.
That would be fascinating if they rattled off a bunch of those guys, especially when you're talking about Lavalette and Stevenson, who probably entered the cycle as top 5 guys, top 5 college guys for sure. And getting them at that and at the end of the first and the compensation rounds would be a big windfall.
Doesn't Andrew Fisher just make all the sense in the world for them, or what they've done?
Yeah. It reminds me, like it jives well with like the Colton Cowser type picks and things like that. I could certainly see him in a O's uniform.
Like, where does he play? We don't care. He can hit, type of thing. That's just kind of what they've done.
Yeah. And did I tell you some scout compared, and you guys would appreciate this as White Sox fans, some scout compared Andrew Fisher to Nick Swisher, more so for almost like his personality than than what he was providing on the field. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting comparison, given that he was firing up the crowd in between at bats and in between pitches in particular.
Worst White Sox player of all time.
It was
In my
rough.
opinion.
I think he hit 219 his first year and was playing center field and hitting leadoff.
What the heck? What the heck just happened there? That's weird. Their feed just decided to refresh for unknown reasons. All right. What is going on here? All right. Well, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and do this then. Till I figure out what's going on with this stinking thing.
And
right,
meanwhile, someone in the chat asked who you guys are hoping for at 44. Have you guys given that any consideration yet?
Sorry, I was muted. So I had a prep guy there, but so I'll say this, Kylie, and this will be helpful from you. I'm glad you're still here for this and you asked this. So Kylie McDaniel has nailed Sox second rounders in recent years. He has
Okay.
them getting Ethan Conrad at 44.
Okay. I could see that.
I mean, I kind of,
he's-
so in my mock, I had him off the board earlier than that. They're very familiar, obviously, with Wake Forest because it's close to where they are. They're also two things. The Sox love previous year stuff, like his sophomore year. Obviously, it was at Marist, but he was awesome.
Yeah.
And the Sox love like prior year success, and they also love Cape success, and he was a monster on the Cape.
Yes, he was. That's when I first became aware of him, was on the Cape, and then he was doing really well for Wake earlier in the year. But like you, I thought he would be off the board before then. One guy I really like, maybe in that range, is JB Middleton. I kind of think he'll go before that. And I think I told you I saw Mike Shirley at a JB Middleton start when I was at Marshall, and he was really good. So that's always a possibility. Gavin Keelan just went off the board of the Giants.
Okay, and this is, what do you think about that? So, Giants picks have been more on the data analytics side, like under Farhan Zaidi, but now it was kind of said that with Buster Posey in charge, this was going to be more of your standard old school scouting pick. Does that fall in line with a Gavin Keelan?
I think so, but I haven't done a ton of diving into the data, but like just from an old school, he was a Wisconsin high school product. Obviously, spent 2 years at Louisville playing second base and shortstop there. Now then at Tennessee, like I said, had that really good start to the season, then got hurt, came back, and was not quite his former self until the last few weeks. But I liked what I saw from him, and sounds like the Posey regime in San Francisco did as well. Because this is a little higher than I anticipated he would go if you asked me a month and a half ago.
Yeah,
But
they have to think he's shortstop.
you would think, right?
Can you get a fourth person, Ian, or no? Because Elijah seems ready to hop on.
Yeah, I can.
I can hop off, guys. I have more
Okay,
than
if you
more
got
than
stuff.
enough I need to do.
Yeah, right on, Burke. We're gonna have Elijah come on, kind of talk about the Carlson pick, and he's in Atlanta, so we're gonna get some info from him. Burke, thanks as always, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
I'll be in
Anytime,
touch.
guys.
I'll be in touch as they start taking college guys, and I need some opinions from you.
Sounds great. See you guys. Good luck.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks, Burke. Appreciate it.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye. All right, so go ahead and go here. It's going to take me a second. I've been dealing with like all sorts of camera problems over here. If you haven't noticed, I'm in slow-mo over here, so I'm trying to sort that whole thing out.
Yeah, I think the chat just died. Like the Sox picked, and now nobody cares. Everybody switched the channel. They're watching sitcoms or whatever. Like, we're gonna be here all friggin' night.
I mean, to be fair, well, I mean, it's like all the prep guys are going away, huh?
Watching Billy Carlson highlights, yes, which is good,
this.
I think.
All right, now.
So the hot rumor here at 14 was that like it was going to be Steele Hall to the Rays. Steele Hall clearly went 9. This seems like a spot for the Rays to significantly underslot because they have multiple picks. We'll get Elijah here in a second to see.
Yeah, give me 1 minute. I just got to bring him up on this.
What he thinks, and I'm gonna ask him about Atlanta too. I'm like fascinated to see what this value was for Billy Carlson, right? Like, did they get him to their spot because they went full slot with him? Is it a bit of a discount? Like all those things. I think their next 2 picks will be informative in regards to, how much that cost.
When do you think we find out like what his actual slot is?
Not tonight, but I'll have a really good idea after I see who goes at 44 and 77. I mean, last year, they took Hagan and then they took the 2 high school guys, and Mike Shirley kind of indicated that they were like out of money. So, my guess is on the call tonight, he'll indicate whether they saved at all.
All right. Almost there.
Yeah, do we have a raise pick in yet?
Holy smokes, this thing is being a pain.
So the commissioner is at the podium for the raise.
Is he?
He is.
Huh. All right.
What's up, guys?
And there we go. Hey, what's up, Elijah?
Elijah's
How you doing?
here.
How are we doing?
Doing great.
So another prep. So Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
Daniel Pierce, shortstop,
yeah.
Mill Creek High School.
And then Kyson Witherspoon is going 15, not to spoil too much for people.
Yeah,
but
you're
that's already
good for
been
Boston. Interesting.
Yeah, which
So-
is a good pick for them. But
So
yeah.
lots of college talent on the board still. And I know it was
For
like
sure.
an underwhelming class, Elijah, but like I feel like at this point, the talent
This is when the run starts.
Yeah, well, I just think the talent at this point is commensurate like with the value, right? Like taking it, we were talking about it earlier. Like you don't want to take one of these guys at 5 because you have to like overpay them. But I mean, like your Summerhills and Lavalettes and all those guys, like in the 15 to 30 range. I mean, those are pretty decent bets, I think.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're going to take some swings at some college guys now, I think, in the next 10 picks, give or take, right? You're definitely going to see some college guys start to go here. But it's been, it's been fun. I mean, when originally, so you guys saw that Arnold was reported at 8 initially, and then it was like, shit, never mind, it's JoJo Parker. I was like, okay, that means Parker to the Sox at 10 when I saw the Arnold pick there. And then when that flipped to Parker, I was like, okay, Sox should be getting Carlson here, which is great. I mean, we've talked about it, James. Like, I'm in on Carlson. I think it's the right pick. I think you have a guaranteed shortstop with legit power upside. We were just talking on the JB stream about how there's going to be some swing reworking there. There's definitely some weirdness with the swing and some groovingness to it, where he's going to need to just adjust a little bit of his like adjustability and his malleability when he's swinging. It gets a little bit firm at times. So I expect some degree of swing changes, but compared to 2 years ago, I'm not terrified of swing changes in the organization anymore like I was pre Ryan Fuller, new regime, etc. Right? Like that is something we've seen now start to happen and work at times. So I do think that we're going to see some adjustments, and it's going to take Carlson some time. I don't expect him to be like a super fast tracked guy, but I think when you look at the pairing of him and Bonnemer, right, like you've got 2 legit infielders that can both kind of continue to rise up together, and he'll be a tick behind Bonnemer, but Carlson's a little bit of older compared to some of the high school guys. So I do think it puts him and Bonnemer on a fairly similar track, honestly.
So do you guys think it makes sense to go like college bats now?
No, stick high school. That's
Stay
what
prep?
I would stay prep. I think you can, if you can drag down. I think Carlson will be around slot, but considering that everybody else,
Everybody's been
putting him
under, it
under
seems
slot,
like.
I still think you're going to have a little bit of extra money from that pick. And if you need to underslot some guys later, sure. I think this second pick is where you really ball on a guy, whether it's Cruz or Gamble or Fauski or Quinton Young or whoever you want to choose, whoever they have isolated as some of their high school guys they really like. I think you go with a big prep bat here and you double down and you start with 2 prep bats, and then if there's a college bat on the board in the 3rd round that you really like, sure, go with it. And even if it's an at slot or whatever, but I think the second pick, you keep it rolling and you just ball out on another prep guy, honestly.
And so like Mike Shirley made a comment like that. He said, if they could get a 2 for 1, that would be great. And essentially what he means by that is like an underslot, then overslot. The thing that's unsure to me is like, is that like the money from the first and second pick, right? Because that's 8.4 million. So you got 6.2 at 10 and 2.2 at 44. Even if Billy Carlson is 5.7, right? And you're shaving 500K off that bonus to add at your next spot. That means you can spend 2.7 at 44, right? And you're really only
Yeah.
using the bonus pool space from those first two picks.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that there's a lot of flexibility here. I think this draft's going to be interesting because we're going to see at some point in this. I think it's going to be Comp A, honestly, in the 30 to 40 range. We're going to see some teams really spend on some big names because there's been a lot of underslots early. Like, yeah, I'm very curious to see what the Orioles do. I think the Orioles route they choose is going to dictate a lot of that beginning of second round because they have 4 picks in the top range and they have so much money to play with now. I
Yeah.
think the Orioles, however the Orioles choose to approach it, if they go college like a Laviolette or like a Summerhill at 19, then I think they're 30, 31. They're going to take the 2 best prep guys available and they're going to give them a crap ton of money. So it's going to be really fascinating to see kind of how it shakes out. But I think the Orioles dictate a lot. Ian's in the middle of the screen.
Yeah, he's been doing. Yeah, he's been having some
it's
issues.
brutal,
We're good. We
man.
can. Yeah, we're good. The chat works. We're talking. So Elijah, and I think we'll find this out soon. The hot rumor, and I did this in my mock draft just because I like who I heard it from, was that the Orioles were trying to push Josh Hammond to 30. And look, with
Could see it.
with a $19 million bonus pool, right? Like they might be able to do that. Others have mocked Hammond like in this range, 17 to the Cubs, right? If they like him, they'll probably just take him. But I think that would be like fascinating. Like, and the other thing was that, if there's 3 college bats that they like, Baltimore, and they can't
Yeah.
decide, right? You get an extra pick, you can probably take all 3 of them because your bonus pool is so big that you can push Luke Stevensons and Andrew Fishers and like these types of guys like to your picks essentially.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be really interesting to see how the rest of this shakes out. I do hope the Sox stay prep, but now I kind of think that round 3 will be a college guy. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think if you get another big prep guy here, then you go with an advanced college bat. I would love Mitch Voigt. I don't know how much you guys know about Mitch Voigt from Michigan, but he's a Midwest guy. I know the Sox have scouted him for a fact, and I know that from what I've heard, Tyler Jennings over at JB was telling me this morning how
He's a name that's moved up. Yeah,
Tyler said by far his favorite like 3rd to 4th round college guy that he thinks he has him at 53 on the big board for just baseball, which is crazy because he's getting mocked in the 70s to 80s in terms of where he was getting projected, and 53 on the big board. If you can get that at 76 for a quick moving bat, I would love the pairing of a guy like that with 2 prep guys early.
Yeah, the name that I heard that I have in the 3rd round of mine is Turley from Oregon State.
That's another one. I think it's a little bit of a risky profile, swing and miss. I don't know if they want to go with 2 kind of slight risky hit tools because that is kind of the one thing with Carlson. So I'm not sure they go that direction, but I think they would love to get a college hit tool plus college hitter at that spot. Maybe it's not, but I think that could be the option. They just the Twins on Merrick Houston, which makes me smile because that's the one player I really didn't want, and I am happy that he's in our division.
Yeah, so the one thing, and like when I go on with Mike Shirley later, something I'm curious to ask is like they keep talking about up the middle profiles and how Chris Getz is like interested in up the middle profiles, right? But the system also needs power. So how do you like weigh those 2 things, right? Because usually like the power prospects are gonna land in the corners ultimately, right? So like is that you focus on up the middle talent with your first 2 picks and then you kind of focus on power after that? Like I'm just kind of curious to see how they go about doing that.
Yeah, that'll be fascinating for sure. I'm curious what Shirley's going to say after this. Also, like side note, this draft's about to go till like midnight, dude. Like,
Oh
what
yeah,
are
no,
we
I
like?
said baseball
What?
they didn't
I didn't
realize
think
like
about this at all.
how long this was truly
did
going
not.
to take.
We're at pick 16 and it's been an hour and a half. We've got
Right.
So
76 picks to get. 76 picks to
They
get
have
through, or 70.
100.
No,
They have
100
105.
something.
They have 105
105.
total.
I mean,
And the
it'll speed
pick
up
comes
later, but
in.
still.
Yeah, the pick comes in, and then Rob Manfred's off doing whatever he's doing. Just make the pick, dude. Let's let's keep this thing rolling. Like you wanna retain viewership. That's how you need to do it, is by keeping people, interested, not sitting there watching, guys with jerseys on. Picks in for
Elijah,
I know that one.
I have 3 in my mock draft correct. I'm
Hell yeah,
I'm
that's
feeling
pretty good.
good. Yeah,
That's
three's
pretty
good.
three's good. I think we have 3 with JB right now, so it's hard.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
have
it's
Ethan.
not an easy
I
task.
have Ethan Holliday at 4, Seth Hernandez at 6, and Billy Carlson
Man,
at 10.
I'm so pissed I never got down to Corona. I've been saying all spring that I need to go to Corona High School for a game just to watch because I'm only
Mhm.
3-4 hour drive away, and I was telling myself all summer I needed to do it, and I never did. And I'm pissed, but I
Well,
still will
so
get plenty of looks. We'll have time to look at him, I'm
well,
sure.
Carlson pitches too, and he's good.
He's good, but don't
Well,
no.
he's
I
not
mean,
he's
yes,
not a
but like,
prospect, but he's good like in high school pitching.
yeah, for sure. I mean, the arm is
Ohtani.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm gonna try to get him set up. I got some people in California that I think I
Hey,
can absolutely tap into. So
ask your guys when you see him, how much work has Ike Irish's agent done? My goodness gracious. This man was like rumored in the top 5 for weeks, and he's on the board at 16 or 17.
he's also just not my favorite player, to be honest. Like, I just don't think I think the top 5 thing was just kind of ridiculous. I think the idea was you underslot the crap out of him because he's a college guy, but I don't it's like it's just not a top 5 player in this class, to be honest. I really don't think so. I'm surprised he's still there at 16. I thought it would be mid-teens or so. I think he'll go soon. But yeah, the top 5 smoke I thought was weird the whole time, and we kept hearing it, but like it didn't make sense ever.
So maybe the Orioles pushed him to 19.
I could see that. I could definitely see that if they want to pay, they want a guy that they can fast track a little. The Orioles, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens with them. I never know what the Orioles are doing, to be honest. But
Well, it's usually college bats and like ignoring defense, right? Like it's just kind of
right, yeah, literally.
what they've
And
typically
then how'd
done.
that go for them last year? You got Vince Cunning hitting
Well,
like
that's
200.
yeah, that's rough. Okay, so the Twins
Yeah,
has the Twin. Okay, so this is now. Okay, so you told us
yeah.
this pick, so we know what it is.
Houston,
But
yeah. Yeah, sorry. It's funny how I mean the breaks are coming in on Twitter 6-7 minutes before the actual picks are going on TV,
oh yeah, it's
which is pretty
always
funny.
yeah, because they
Oh
get them all from the
wow.
agents.
You wanna know this Cubs pick? This is crazy.
Is it
I did
Josh
not
Hammond
expect
or
that.
no?
No, it's a
Gage
guy that we
Wood?
were just talking about it. No, we were just talking about this guy at 44 potentially as a college guy.
Oh, so I heard about
Ethan
this. I heard about this.
Conrad to the Cubs at 17.
Yeah, so
Wow.
this is a huge underslot. Like I had talked to somebody
Wow.
not close to the Cubs like org, but a blogger type that kind of like, yeah, interesting.
Danny says pitch clock for Manfred. That's what I'm saying. He's worried about the game moving faster, and he's sitting here dragging this
So
draft
this is
along.
Elijah. Like, do you know if is there a physical on Ethan
I
Conrad?
don't know actually. I'm not I think he was one of the guys where it was questionable.
So the Cubs pick is 4,000,075, right? So I mean, I guess there's a chance that they shaved off $1 million, and it's like this is 3.8 for Conrad here. Like
Yeah, that's
in
probably
an
about
underslot,
right.
but
It's got to be at least it's under 4 for sure.
they definitely saved there.
Yeah,
This
it's under
is-
4 for sure. It's got to be.
and it's not gonna be Ethan Conrad for the White Sox at 44.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to be picked for the White Sox. I still just don't. I think there's a couple college guys it could be, but I still just really think it's a prep guy. Even if you slightly reach on a guy, maybe I still think it's another upside bat at 44.
Yeah,
honestly.
I feel like it is too. And if it's another shortstop, I wouldn't be surprised either. I did Sean Gamble in my mock. Obviously, we know, like all the talk about the local kid, Jaden Foskey, but he's got
would be great
interest from teams
everywhere.
all throughout the comp round. So
Yeah, he'll be everywhere. I've heard a wide range of things. I know some people over at Nazareth. So I've talked to them a little bit about Fauski. Like I heard, Rays are really in on him. I heard the Orioles were looking at him with those, that 31 of
Tigers,
those 30, 31
Brewers.
Brewers. I've heard a lot of. So we'll see what happens with Fauski, but I think he'll be gone. But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to like across the board. So
do you like Kason Cunningham? Because he seems like
I do.
the
I do.
steal of the century at this point. I didn't love it. I didn't love it
yeah.
at 10 over definite shortstop profiles.
Yes, I agree.
But at this point, I mean, it it kind of reminds me of like the fall of Kevin McGonigal, and then now he's a top 10 prospect in baseball. It's that type of hit tool, but it's probably second base.
I think there's a very good chance he goes to either Arizona or Milwaukee here at either 18 or 20. I expect him to go at either 18 or 20 here. I would say those are teams that are generally not afraid to take high school guys. And I think that both those teams could. I mean, Cunningham at this spot, yes, I think he's probably one of, if not my favorite player left on the board right now.
Yeah, Danny asked if he was going to make it to 44, and I was like, yeah, there's no way.
Why do I have people commenting Jacob Gonzalez about Billy Carlson? I don't understand.
Dude, I don't understand.
It couldn't be more.
So they both play shortstop and live in California.
They happen to be shortstops from California. That is
true. When was it ever mentioned that Jacob Gonzalez was going to be a 70
grade shortstop? No, it was never even a possibility. And again, Jacob Gonzalez has come a long way. He looks pretty decent in the infield these days, but like he's playing more third than short and second than short. I mean, William Bergoya is playing more short than him in Birmingham right now. So regardless, it's Carlson's a great pick. I think it's the right pick. You guys are how long are you staying on? I was going to say I want to hop on for 44, but I do got to get off here in a few.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be done here shortly.
Cool. Yeah, but then you guys are
dip out
joining in for 40. 40.
I'm planning on coming back around 40. They have the first pick of the second round. We can probably come back a little bit before that and recap anything that happened, and then we'll react to the Sox at 44 and stay through 76.
Sweet. All right. I will. I'll definitely join you guys later when we get back to the Sox pick. So
sounds good, man. Have fun.
Great.
Enjoy Atlanta.
Yeah, appreciate it. Atlanta's been great.
Wings.
It's been fun for sure. We're hanging out. We had a good time. Futures game yesterday.
Is Aram feeding you or no?
We're all I'm feeding us via the JB. But no, we're good. We're doing good. I got to talk to Larry for a while at the Futures game, Larry Schultz, which was nice, and then just catching up with people all over the park. We got to talk to some of the big reporters around the league and everything, just hanging out. And then Derby tomorrow. We've got a card break going on. We got a charity auction going on. It's been cool. Atlanta's great. It's Truist Park has got to be one of my, I'd say, top 3 to 5 I've been to at this point. It is beautiful.
Are you at the venue where the draft is or no?
No, we're at the Airbnb for this. We got Tyler Jennings over the draft, and the rest of us are doing the stream here at the Airbnb.
Nice.
But no, it's been great. Truist and the Battery is an awesome atmosphere for it. It's like it's what, no offense, I'm gonna piss off some people by saying this, but it's like what Wrigley wishes it could be, but like modern and not old and gross, in my opinion. Wrigley.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's gonna be official in a couple of weeks. The 2027 draft live from Chicago. So if we're still doing this, we'll be there. So.
For sure, man. I'll see you guys later tonight then.
Sounds good, man.
All right. See you in a bit.
All right, fellas. Appreciate you.
All right. Yep. Later. All right.
So, what do you think about this?
Whoa,
I mean, obviously,
that's not what I wanted.
Oh, sorry. So, most big chunk of our audience, obviously, not fans of the North Side team. I find myself discussing them often just because I listen to a lot of radio in town, and I don't really watch Cubs games, but I feel like I know what's going on because it's talked about so much. Ethan Conrad at 17, it's 1 year at Wake. He was awesome at Marist, so this is similar to, and I can't remember the name right now, the pick that the Nationals made last year. Remember at 10, where they had the infielder that transferred in from Wingate and had a great year. Ethan Conrad was the same, and then Ethan Conrad broke his collarbone or his shoulder, like diving for a ball earlier this year. He was awesome on the Cape last year. It's power and hit. It's probably a corner profile. This is definitely under slot though for the Cubs, but it's probably a pretty quick mover.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine
and he's hitting dongs at the couch, like on this video right now, because that place is a freaking bandbox.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that field down. I mean, we've talked about Wake Forest guys before, and we've kind of.
Yeah, I'm scared, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it seems like it should be good, but you kind of wonder if the power numbers are real because it's kind of one of those stadiums that allows home runs.
Yeah,
like that,
Seaver King. Thank you. That's who it was.
There you go.
Yeah, same type of deal. I think that's fascinating for the Cubs. I mean, he's a big data guy. I'm sure they saved money. They don't have, a ton of picks. I mean, they have like a later second, which is interesting. So you wanna stay here and see Arizona and Baltimore? Or you want to hop off?
I mean, Arizona and Baltimore don't really. Although
Baltimore with all the money, I think, is interesting.
Yeah, I guess we'll
Like,
see if they kind
or
of
we could,
underslot it here a
or
little
we can
bit.
stay on long enough. Like, if the pick leaks, we can talk about it and then leave.
Yeah, that seems like a way to do that thing. Kason Cunningham to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, so that's a typical profile for them.
Yeah.
They like your little smaller hitterish athletes.
Drew Jones.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they they take Slade Caldwell a couple of years ago. Yeah, I think that one fits for them. They also have quite a bit of money, I think, because they have extra picks.
Oh.
What? Oh, is it interesting?
It might be. We'll see. So I don't know if you saw this or not. There was that whole, the crazy hype train that Drew Jones had in his draft season. We are mid-July, and Drew Jones just hit his 3rd home run of the year.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
So, and that's in like 300 at bats.
Yeah,
So
it just hasn't translated. I think
he's had a tough time.
It's good defense, but you don't draft good defense at 2 overall or whatever it was. Yeah. So 19.
Yeah,
that's not a
TJ says that Joe Doyle is
saw
reporting that it's Ike Irish
at
to
19.
Baltimore.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if they pushed Ike Irish to their spot with some of their extra
That's possible. Yeah,
bonus funds.
Yeah, that's possible. Either that or people felt like a lot of White Sox fans, which they just not that interested in a guy that's probably not going to catch.
He's not going to catch. I think they're going to put him right in the outfield, and he was just, dude, he was rumored all over the top 10 for weeks, and it's just, I don't know. Seems pretty ordinary to me if he's not catching.
Yes, that's exactly my thought as well. Is that if he's not an actual catcher, I'd rather grab Devin Taylor from Indiana.
Yeah,
if I'm gonna get a left fielder anyway. What's that?
Who you know is probably gonna hit? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a definite outfielder. You've seen him play in the outfield, and he's a good outfielder. So, I mean, that's what I would rather do if I was in that situation. I'm just not a fan, and we've seen the White Sox do it for years. We saw Andrew Vaughn in the outfield, saw Gavin Sheets in the outfield. We see all these guys, them pushing these guys to the outfield, and it just never, I don't ever see it like they're never going to be a plus outfielder. They might be able to hold their own, but it's never a plus. So
right, exactly. And it's kind of like the same thing with the Conrad pick. It's a money saver, but it's a definite corner. Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah. Do you think that Conrad could have stuck at first base?
What do you mean? Like,
do you think he could have stuck? I mean, because they're moving and they're profiling him as an outfielder.
So he played. Yeah. So Wake played him at first.
Right.
A lot. He did get hurt playing the outfield. So area scouts I talked to think that he can definitely play an outfield corner. Definitely not center, because that's what I asked him. Like, is there any center field utility? It was like, absolutely not. But probably not first base only. I think it's like similar things have been said about Andrew Fisher, right? Like, if you think he can stand in a corner, it's great value. If you think he's a first baseman, then he's, you better hope he hits, because it's just the things we always talk about, right? With first base, you got to mash. Yeah, I think it's similar. I think a lot of these guys are similar. That's the thing that's different about Jace Laviolette is I think he's at least going to start his career in center.
Yeah, he can play center, and I mean, I know that our resident chat person, Uncle Ted, disappeared when Billy Carlson got picked because he was angry.
And he hits right-handed. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. But he's a big Jace Laviolette guy, and that's the one thing I will say. I don't necessarily agree with some of his opinions, but Jace Laviolette can play, and the guy's got heart, and I will give him that 100%.
Well, yeah, and if you get like down in this range, I mean, Laviolette could, could go somewhere and like really help a team, like teams that are good at this type of stuff, like Houston. If like he gets into the comp round or something, I mean, it's just like worth a shot. It's just guys with that profile, man, they haven't hit at all. And Baltimore did the same thing with Vance Honeycutt. Jaron Kett, it's just so many strikeouts in college. And, lots of people I feel like think that he was pressing a lot because A&M wasn't that good and he was supposed to be the number one pick and all, but like, man, I'm glad somebody else is going to like take on that challenge.
So you've been asked in chat if you think Brendan Summerall from Arizona is going to be able to possibly float to 44.
I doubt it. So I mean, like the issue here is like think about it this way. So if the Sox are willing to spend $3 million at pick 44, that's about pick 32 ish, right? So anybody picked ahead of 32 is probably going to get more than that. My guess is Summerhill goes here somewhere in the 20s. But so for the Sox to float a guy, like whether it be Jaden Foskey or I put Sean Gamble, who was an Iowa prep that's at IMG, like I think the spot that these guys need to fall past 32, I would think, like in order for that to be a possibility.
Yep.
And I don't think they're saving a ton on Billy Carlson. I really don't. Like I bet they saved a little. I don't think it's 6.2 mil, but it's probably 5.7, 5.8 is my guess.
All right. Well,
so yeah, I think we're gonna hop off and have some food. I might see my kids for a little bit, and then we'll be back in 20 picks or so.
Yeah, that sounds good. So we're gonna take a break, probably for an hour.
20 picks is maybe more than that. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
So
hop back on at 40.
Sox are 44. I think coming back around 40 makes some sense. We'll go over some things that happened and then go over their pick. And then they're not going to pick again until 76. So we'll have plenty of time to talk about everything that happened while we were gone.
Yep. All right. Sounds good.
And I know I'm very excited. I don't sound excited. It's hard for me to do this and that at the same time. So.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, it's I'm happy that I would have personally, like I was a JoJo guy compared to Carlson, but I'm happy either way. I'm happy it's not a college pitcher, even though, we're looking at good pitchers. It's just, I just want to bat.
Yeah.
So thanks for hopping in, everybody. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for hopping in the chat. We will be back in about an hour-ish, right around pick number 40. So if you want, go ahead and throw the notifications on, and you'll get a noti when we pop back up here. And we'll see you guys in a little bit. And enjoy your Billy Carlson, and we'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Thanks. Bye.